I know this sounds insane, but I need to say it out loud. Maybe to convince myself it's real. Yesterday afternoon, I was cleaning out the attic. Not because I wanted to, but because the ceiling had started leaking again. I figured maybe something had burst up there. While crawling through the boxes, I found this old wooden crate, shoved behind insulation and some moldy sheetrock. It didn't belong. It was sealed with rusted nails and wrapped in what looked like twine that had nearly disintegrated. Curiosity won. Inside were brittle newspapers from 1993, a broken porcelain doll with one eye missing, a child's drawing of something I can't even describe, and one VHS tape. The tape had no label, just a faint, greasy fingerprint right in the center of it. I don't even own a VCR. No one does anymore, but I couldn't throw it away. It felt significant, like it was waiting to be found. I called my friend Joel, he's kind of a retro tech guy, and borrowed his old VCR. I didn't tell him about the tape. Honestly, I didn't know how to explain it without sounding completely unhinged. That night, around 11 p.m., I shut my door, pulled the curtains, and popped in the tape. The screen lit up with a blizzard of static for a solid minute. Then it cleared. The footage began. It showed a hallway, my hallway, down to the crooked frame I still haven't fixed. I leaned forward, confused. Then I walked into the frame. Me. Same hoodie. Same slippers. It was like I was watching a live stream of my own life. I ran to the hallway. Nothing. No camera, no light. I ran back and watched the footage again. This time, the angle had changed. It was now filming my bedroom. I was in the bed, sleeping, and then a figure appeared. Tall, shadowy, just standing at the foot of my bed. It didn't move. It just stood there, breathing, head cocked ever so slightly, like it was listening for something. Then suddenly, it leaned forward and whispered something toward the camera. I couldn't hear it, but I recognized the shape of the mouth. It said my name. I yanked the tape out, heart racing, drenched in sweat. I turned on every light in the house and didn't sleep. I stayed in the living room with a kitchen knife and my phone in hand, watching the shadows for hours. This morning, I returned to the attic to recheck the crate. The doll was gone. The child's drawing was now pinned to the attic beam with a rusted nail, like it had always been there. I picked up the tape again. This time, I noticed something I missed before. On the back, under what looked like peeling duct tape, was a small patch of dried ink. I peeled it away slowly. There, in shaky handwriting, were the words, June 12th, 2025, final recording. Tomorrow. I don't know what that means yet, but I can't ignore it. I wish I had. I tried to rationalize it all day. Maybe it was a prank, some kind of augmented reality glitch, or a hallucination. But none of that explains how the tape shows places inside my apartment, places I never recorded, and now things feel off. My lights flicker even though I just changed the bulbs. My phone screen froze this afternoon, then turned on by itself with the camera app open, facing me. Even stranger, when I tried to call Joel to return the VCR, the call wouldn't go through. It just played static. But when I held the phone to my ear, I heard breathing. Long, slow. Not mine. Something's happening. Something I don't understand. And I think it's only just beginning. The next night, I did something stupid. I watched the tape again. I couldn't help it. It was like it had a pull, some magnetic need that clawed at my mind. I told myself I needed to be sure it was real, that I wasn't just losing it. So I locked the door, pulled the shades down again, and hit play. The tape picked up where it left off. The figure was still there in my room, but now it was closer. Inches from my sleeping face. Its hand hovered just above my forehead. It didn't touch me, but it wanted to. You could feel it. I could feel it. My sleeping self twitched, like I sensed it too. Then the screen flickered again. The footage changed. Now it was morning light. The camera was in my kitchen. I was eating cereal, scrolling on my phone. Exactly what I did that morning. It was like the tape was recording my life on a delay of one day. It was showing what had happened hours before. That's what I thought, until the next scene. I was sitting at my desk. Then the lights flickered in the footage, just like they had today. I looked up, confused, just like I had. But then I did something I hadn't done in real life. I stood up, walked to the mirror by the hallway, and looked into it. And I screamed. I paused the tape. My hand was shaking. I didn't want to see what I was screaming at, but I could not look. I pressed play. In the footage, my reflection didn't match my movements. It didn't mimic me. It stared back. Its face was blank. Its mouth slowly opened, and black liquid began to pour out. Thick, tar-like sludge that slid down its chin and stained the walls. And I, on the tape, just kept screaming. The screen glitched again. Now, the footage showed me, lying on the floor. Eyes open. Not blinking. Blood around my head. A clock in the background read 8:17 p.m. I checked the time on my phone. It was 7:04 p.m. That's when I finally noticed it. Something I should have seen from the start. The tape didn't show the past. It was showing the future. My future. And at 8:17 p.m., I was going to die. I ripped the tape out, but the VCR didn't stop. It kept spinning. The screen was black now, but I could hear something, low whispers, like a language I couldn't understand. I pulled the plug from the wall. Silence. But then I heard it again. Not from the tape. From behind me. I turned, and for a split second, I saw something dart down the hall. Fast. Too fast to be human. I didn't sleep again. I barely moved. I sat on the couch, clutching the tape in one hand and a flashlight in the other. 8:17 came. My heart raced so hard I thought it would burst. And then nothing. I waited. 8:18, 8:20. Still nothing. Relief washed over me, shaky and incomplete. Maybe it was just a messed up tape. A horror prank. Something explainable. I wanted to believe that, but I shouldn't have. Because at 8:44 p.m., I got a phone call. No number. Just the word unknown. I picked up, and a voice, my own voice, whispered, "You missed it." Then the line went dead. After that call, I sat frozen for what felt like hours. My own voice, but not me. Not exactly. It sounded like me if I were underwater, or buried under static. Garbled, distorted, and still too clear to misinterpret. You missed it. What did I miss? My death? A warning? Or something else entirely? I didn't sleep. I didn't move from that spot until the sun rose and lit up my living room with orange light. I could still feel the tape in my hand, but I couldn't bring myself to look at it again. That morning, I tried to act normal. Took a shower, made coffee, even turned on the news. But my hands wouldn't stop shaking. Every sound made me jump, and I couldn't stop thinking about that time. 8:17. About what I'd seen. About the figure. About my reflection vomiting black sludge. It wasn't just a horror movie playing on a loop. It felt personal. Tailored. Like the tape knew me. Knew what I feared. Knew how to hit the pressure points in my mind until I cracked. I decided to destroy it. I drove to the outskirts of town, found a public dumpster, and threw the tape in. I even watched until the garbage truck came to collect it that afternoon. I felt relief again, deeper this time. Like I'd rid myself of something evil. But that night, When I got home, it was sitting on my coffee table. Same smudge. I didn't open the video file that night. I left my phone on the floor, face down, and tried to pretend the day had never happened. But even in the quiet, my thoughts were screaming. How could a tape show the future? How could it return after I destroyed it? How did it know my name, my apartment, my reflection? I didn't go to work the next day. I couldn't. I told my boss I had food poisoning, but I think my voice gave away the truth. I sounded hollow, distant, like someone who'd seen something they weren't supposed to. I spent the entire morning trying to prove to myself it was fake. Maybe the VCR had a recording feature I didn't know about. Maybe someone installed hidden cameras in my apartment. I took apart every vent, every electrical outlet, every ceiling tile. Nothing. I dug into the tape itself. I pried it open and unwound the film. It was intact, old, dusty, brittle in places, but nothing unusual. No circuitry, no digital tricks. Just analog film. Still, the images it showed, they were real. Not just realistic, real. My couch. My dishes. My shirts drying on the chair. All in the exact places I left them. I needed answers. So I posted on Reddit. r/Creepypasta. r/Unresolved Mysteries. r/Paranormal. I didn't expect anyone to believe me. I just needed to get it out. And maybe, just maybe, someone else had experienced something similar. Most replies were trolls. Cool ARG bro. Or nice creepypasta. A few offered decent theories, psychosis, sleep deprivation, shared delusions, but none of them explained the tape showing footage before it happened. Then there was one DM. No username, no avatar. Just a message. Don't let it finish. I replied instantly. Finish what? No response. I checked again 2 minutes later. The message was gone. The user was deleted. Now I was truly obsessed. I went back through the tape, frame by frame, analyzing every flicker, every glitch. In the hallway shot, I noticed something new. A shadow behind my own. Too tall. Too thin. It moved just half a second after I did. A lag. Like it was copying me with a delay. In the reflection scene, I paused at the exact moment the mouth opened. I zoomed in on the black sludge pouring out. And in the sludge, I swear to you, I saw shapes. Symbols. Like a language trying to form. I screen captured it and ran it through every analysis tool I could find. OCR, pattern recognition, AI decoding software. Nothing worked. But the more I looked at it, the more I understood. Not with my brain, something deeper. Like it was speaking directly to the part of me that dreams. Or remembers things from before I was born. I stopped sleeping altogether. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw new footage. Footage that didn't exist. Footage I'd never played. But I remembered it. In one dream, I was buried alive, watching myself from above. In another, I was in a hospital room with no doors. Machines beeped out a countdown. All the nurses had my face. I started writing everything down, sketching the symbols, mapping out the sequence of scenes, looking for logic, patterns, anything that could help. But the more I wrote, the more chaotic my notes became. Scribbles, spirals, pages blacked out with ink. I looked back through my notebook and saw entire entries I didn't remember writing. Sentences like, "Hey, where's your skin when you're not looking? The tape is hungry. You are the final recording." It didn't feel like my handwriting. I stopped going outside. My phone kept buzzing with notifications, but they weren't from any app one recognized. The icon was just a spinning tape reel. Every video it sent me started with static, and ended with silence. And always, somewhere in the middle, I would hear it, my voice. Or something using my voice. I told myself to smash the phone. To destroy every copy of the tape. Every shred of paper I'd written on. But I couldn't. Because a part of me didn't want to. A part of me wanted to know how it ended. One night I heard scratching. Not from the walls. From inside the TV. It was unplugged. I moved closer, unsure if I was dreaming, hallucinating, or finally slipping over the edge. The screen stayed black, but the scratching grew louder. Then a thump, like something had hit the inside, trying to get out. I left the apartment. Just ran. I didn't take my keys. I didn't take my phone. Just bolted into the hallway in my socks, breathing like I just drowned. I knocked on every door on my floor. Most didn't answer. The one that did, a middle-aged woman I'd barely spoken to, just stared at me. Her eyes were completely black. No whites. No iris. Just two pits of obsidian. I backed away. She didn't move. Didn't blink. I took the stairs down, skipping every other step. Hands scraping the railing. Not even sure where I was going. The lobby was empty. The street outside was empty. No cars. No lights. Just fog. I looked at my watch. It was stuck on 8:17. Always 8:17. I walked for hours, maybe miles, until I came to a gas station. The lights were on. It looked normal. I stepped inside, grateful for the buzz of fluorescent lighting. The clerk looked up, said nothing. I asked if I could use the bathroom. He nodded slowly. Inside, I splashed cold water on my face. Looked at myself in the mirror. For the first time in days, I didn't see anything strange. No figure. No shadow. Just me. But when I turned around, the door was gone. Just a wall. I looked back at the mirror, and my reflection was still facing the other way. It smiled. I don't remember leaving the gas station. I woke up in my bed. TV shattered. Phone on my chest. A new file. Final_recording_02.mov. This one had a timestamp. June 13th, 2025. By the next day, I was barely human. I hadn't eaten in 48 hours. My hands trembled constantly. My eyes stung from staying open too long. Too scared to sleep. Too haunted when I did. I knew I needed help. But what kind of help fixes this? I opened the new video file. This time, it started with me. Future me. Talking to someone on the phone. I couldn't hear what I was saying, but I recognized the tension in my face, the pacing of the room, the hand in my hair like I was yanking at thoughts. The timestamp said 3:24 p.m. That was 2 hours from then. In the background of the footage, something shifted. The shadows behind me thickened, like smoke curling where there was no fire. Then the lights cut out. Just like that. Total blackness. The tape jumped. Now I was outside, in the street, barefoot, screaming. I fast-forwarded, couldn't watch myself fall apart. At the 8:17 p.m. mark, I collapsed. Not like fainting, like something inside me gave out. My eyes rolled back. My body twitched violently. And then I just stopped. The screen lingered on my body for 10 long seconds. And then it smiled. My body smiled. I closed the laptop, heart jackhammering in my chest. This wasn't just death. This was possession, replacement, infiltration. Something was wearing my life like a costume, and it wanted me to watch the fitting. I tried calling my sister. She didn't pick up. I left a voicemail, begging her to call me back, voice cracking with fear. I emailed an old professor of mine, someone who taught folklore, the supernatural, all that stuff. I didn't go into detail. Just said I had a VHS tape showing impossible things. Asked if he'd ever heard of something like that. No reply. I even considered going to the police, but what would I say? A haunted tape is predicting my possession by an evil entity. I'd be in a psych ward by sundown. Instead, I tried to track down where the tape could have come from. I remembered that the box in the attic had old newspapers from 1993. I still had one of them, brittle and yellowed. I scanned through the headlines, looking for anything that might link to this madness. One article caught my eye. Local teen missing after claiming to see living mirror. June 11th, 1993. The article was vague, full of speculation, but one detail stood out. The teen was last seen entering his attic with a camcorder. His name was Matthew Cross. I Googled him. Nothing current. No social media. No death record. No obituary. Gone. Just erased. I kept digging and found a forum thread from 2009, buried, barely indexed by search engines. A user named MTX1993 posted a single message. If you find the tape, don't watch it. Burn it. Don't let it finish. Same phrase as the DM I got. No replies. No follow-up. His account was deactivated a day later. I sat back, stunned. Was he warning me from beyond? Had he become what I was becoming? The floor creaked behind me. I froze. I turned slowly, flashlight in hand. Nothing. But the door to my bedroom was ajar. I always keep it shut. I stepped toward it, holding my breath. Pushed it open. No one. But on the bed, where I'd last thrown the VCR, was the tape. Back again. But this time, the label had changed. It no longer said final recording. Now it said, welcome home. I stared at that label for what felt like hours. Welcome home. It didn't make sense. Or maybe it made too much sense. Like the tape wasn't just part of my story anymore. It was claiming me, telling me that I belonged to it now. I didn't touch it. Instead, I backed away, one step at a time, until I hit the wall behind me. I slid down it, sat on the floor and cried. Not sobbing, silent tears, like my soul was leaking out of me drop by drop. That night, I tried to sleep with the lights on. I left the TV unplugged, the laptop closed, the phone powered down. It didn't matter. I woke up at 3:33 a.m. to the static. Not from any device, from the air itself. It buzzed in my ears, like I was standing too close to a power line. My vision blurred, my teeth ached, and the walls shimmered, like they were breathing. And the whispers, they were louder now. Not just words, commands. Record. Watch. Become. I ran to the kitchen, grabbed a knife. Not to defend myself, just to feel something real in my hand. Then I heard it. A knock on my front door. 3 soft knocks. I froze. No one knocks at 3:33 a.m. I didn't move. I didn't breathe. Another knock. Louder this time. More deliberate. I crept to the peephole and looked out. No one. But when I looked down, I saw something on the floor. A tape. Another one. This one was labeled rehearsal. I didn't open the door. I backed away slowly and grabbed the old VCR. I didn't even remember why I still had it. I thought I'd thrown it out. But somehow, it was right there on my table, waiting. I hooked it up, hands trembling, breath shallow. I inserted the new tape. It was footage of me again, but not just me in the present. It showed my childhood bedroom, me at 8 years old, sitting on the floor playing with action figures. Then it cut to me as a teenager, staring into a mirror, holding a camera. The angle was wrong, like the camera was inside the mirror looking out. Then it cut to now, me watching the tape. On the tape, watching myself. It was endless, looping. recursive. Then the final scene. My eyes. Close up. Bloodshot. Empty. And a whisper. You've always belonged to us. I pulled the tape out and threw it across the room. It didn't break. There's something cruel about knowing when you're supposed to die. Since I watched the last tape, I've been counting down. Not hours. Not days. Moments. Every second feels like it might be the last time I breathe normally. The last time I blink. The last time I feel real. I set every clock in the apartment to 8:17. I don't even know why. It felt like surrender. Like aligning myself with the inevitable. But the real horror isn't death. It's the waiting. Every creak of the floor. Every flicker of the lights. Every time the shadows move just a little too much in the corner of my eye. I wonder if it's starting. I've tried everything to escape it. I moved out of my apartment, packed a single duffel bag, and went to a hotel 3 towns over. Paid in cash. Used a fake name. When I opened the room door, the TV was already on. The screen was blue. There was a tape in the VCR. The same handwriting on the label. Countdown. I didn't touch it. I sat on the edge of the bed. Lights on. Phone in hand. Ready to run again. Then the lights went out. I turned the flashlight on. The bulb immediately blew. The room went black. I stumbled to the hallway. The door wouldn't open. From the crack under the bathroom door, I saw light. I pushed it open. And there I was. Not a reflection. Me. Standing there, watching myself. His eyes were wrong. Too bright. Too wide. He smiled and raised a finger to his lips. Sure, I blacked out. I woke up in my car. Parked in front of my old apartment. I don't remember driving. The engine was cold. The tape was sitting in the passenger seat. Countdown. I'm not running anymore. I know it's going to happen. I don't know how. I don't know what it means to be replaced. But I feel it. Like a crack in my reality. Widening with every breath. There's a clock on my wall now. I didn't put it there. It ticks louder than any clock should. It only has one hand. And it points to 8:17. I don't know if I put the clock there and forgot. Or if it just appeared. That kind of doubt is constant now. My memories feel like old film. Flickering, grainy, unreliable. I tried smashing it. The clock. Took a hammer to it. It didn't break. It didn't even scratch. Instead, it let out a sound. Not a chime. A whisper. Almost. I threw it out the window. 5 minutes later, it was back on the wall. Still ticking. Still pointing to 8:17. I started seeing the number everywhere. Gas receipts. Room numbers. Elevator floors. Every digital clock I passed flickered and reset to 8:17. Even my watch, analog, battery-powered, stopped ticking and froze on that number. It's like time doesn't move for me anymore. Like I've stepped out of a stream, and I'm circling the drain. I started writing goodbye letters. To my sister. To my old best friend from college. To my parents. I don't even know if I'll send them. What would I say? Sorry, a VHS tape ate my soul. But the part that scares me the most is that I don't feel scared anymore. I feel prepared. Like this was always going to happen. Like I was born with this destination coded in my DNA. Like every moment of my life was leading to a single time. 8:17 p.m. Yesterday, I went to the library and searched microfilm archives. I don't know what I expected to find, but I found it. Reports of people disappearing. Always near the same date. Always in towns I've lived in. No connections. No crimes. Just vanished. Each case listed a common detail. All their clocks were found stopped at 8:17. I called the reporter who wrote one of those stories. An old man now, in a care home. He didn't say hello when he picked up. He said, "You saw the tape, didn't you?" I asked him how he knew. He just sighed. They always see it in different ways. Some get a flash drive. Some get a broadcast. But it's always a countdown. I asked how to stop it. He said, "You don't. You just recorded better this time." Then he hung up. I didn't sleep last night. I couldn't. Not because of fear, but because of anticipation. I feel like I'm rehearsing for something. Like everything in me is aligning for this one moment. I feel hollow. Ready. I think it's almost time. So I've started recording myself. Not for anyone else. Not for proof. For it. Every night, I sit in front of the camera and talk. About my day. My fears. The moment I saw. I finally try to tell someone everything. Not just bits and pieces. The whole truth. It was a barista at this 24-hour diner I started going to. One of the few places that still felt real. Her name was Jenny. Late 20s. Quiet but kind. She always gave me extra creamers. Smiled like I wasn't invisible. That night I just broke. I asked if I could sit in the corner for a while. She nodded. Didn't say a word when I stayed there for 4 hours, sipping cold coffee. Eventually, she came over, concerned. I told her I wasn't sleeping. That I thought I was being followed. That time didn't feel right anymore. Then, I told her about the tape. Not all of it. Just enough. Just enough to make it sound like I needed help. But not like I was beyond saving. She didn't laugh. She didn't roll her eyes. She just looked at me and said, "Do you think it's real?" I nodded. She said, "Then why are you still here?" I didn't know how to answer that. Why was I still here? Why hadn't I left the state, the country, the planet if I could? Because something was holding me. Not physically. Not chains or walls. But something in my chest. Like I'd already been claimed. Jenny offered me her number. Told me to call her if things got worse. That night, I got home and found a note on my door. It was in my handwriting. "Don't drag anyone else into this." I tore it up. I called Jenny anyway. No answer. I called again. Her number was no longer in service. The next day, I went back to the diner. No one there had ever heard of her. She didn't work there. No Jenny on payroll. No employee matching her description. I checked the security cameras near my booth. The owner let me. Probably because I looked like I hadn't slept in days, and he felt bad. The footage showed me. Alone. Talking to no one. Laughing by myself. Crying by myself. Like I'd imagined her. Like I'd imagined everything. I left the diner in a fog, walking home through the empty streets. No cars. No people. Just me and the sound of my own footsteps. I began to question everything. What if Jenny had never existed? What if the tape wasn't showing me the future, but showing me what it wanted me to believe? A slow rewrite of my reality, replacing pieces of it with fiction I couldn't distinguish from memory? I reached out to an old friend from college, Mark. He was rational, skeptical, the kind of person who solved Rubik's cubes for fun. I needed that logic. I needed someone to ground me. He picked up on the first ring. "Hey," I said. "Do you remember me?" There was a pause. Then, "Who is this?" "It's me. From state. We took that philosophy class together. We roomed sophomore year." Another pause. "I think you have the wrong number." I stared at my phone. It was his number. I was sure of it. I tried calling back. Number disconnected. I dug through an old box and found a photo. Mark and I at a college party. Arms around each other. Grinning. Red Solo cups in hand. When I turned it over, the names were gone. Blank space where they'd been written in Sharpie. Just white. No ink. That's when I knew. It wasn't just the future being rewritten. It was the past, too. Every thread I tried to pull unraveled more of who I was. More. It's the day before. The final full day I might be myself. I woke up just before sunrise, not because I wanted to, but because something whispered my name in the dark. I didn't open my eyes at first. I just listened. The voice didn't speak again, but I could feel its presence, like it was waiting for permission to come closer. I made coffee. I took a long shower. I put on fresh clothes. I tried to pretend it was a normal day, but nothing felt normal. The lights flickered once when I stepped into the hallway. The faucet in the kitchen turned on by itself while I was in the bathroom. A spoon fell off the counter and landed upright. All small things. All explainable if I wanted them to be. I didn't want them to be. Not anymore. I've stopped fighting the idea that this is happening. That something ancient and unknowable has targeted me. Not for punishment. Not even for destruction. But for replacement. I think that's what makes it worse. There's no anger behind it. No emotion at all. Just inevitability. Like a glacier moving toward a town. It doesn't hate the town. It just moves. I spent the morning writing in my journal. I don't know if anyone will find it, or if they'll even be able to read it. The ink seems to smudge more every day. Like the paper itself is rejecting my handwriting. I wrote down everything I remember about my childhood. My first pet. My first kiss. The first time I broke a bone. I wanted to prove to myself that I still exist. That I'm still here. But when I look back through the pages, some of the stories were different. Not wrong. Just slightly off. Like they belonged to someone else who had almost lived my life. I called my sister again. Still no answer. I left one last voicemail. I love you. I'm sorry I disappeared before I actually disappeared. I didn't cry. I thought I would. But all I felt was calm. Like the ocean before a storm. Around noon, I decided to leave the apartment one last time. Not to escape. Just to feel the sun. The streets were quieter than usual. Not empty, just subdued. Everyone seemed to move slower. Like the world was sinking to my pace. Or maybe I was sinking to it. I sat on a park bench and watched a little boy feed pigeons. He couldn't have been more than 5. He laughed when one bird hopped onto his foot. That laugh did something to me. Tugged at something deep and buried. A memory surfaced. Me that age. In the same park. Different pigeons. Same laughter. Had it really happened? Or had the tape planted that image? I looked around. The trees swayed gently in the wind. The sun was warm on my face. For a moment, it felt like maybe I was wrong. Maybe I was sick. Maybe I was dreaming. Then a woman walked by, pushing a stroller. Inside wasn't a baby. It was a mirror. A handheld mirror, facing up. And in it I saw myself. But not me now. The version from the tape. Watching. Smiling. I stood up and walked home slowly. The streets bent in ways they hadn't before. Buildings looked taller, narrower, like they were leaning in to listen. By the time I reached my door, I could feel it. Not fear. Not dread. Completion. Like a clock winding down its final tick. I left the door unlocked. I wanted it to be easy. Tonight It's today. June 12th. The clock above my desk reads 4:03 p.m. I haven't moved much. I woke up just before noon, drenched in sweat, feeling like something had left me in the night, or entered. Hard to tell the difference anymore. The first thing I noticed was silence. No cars outside. No birds. Even the ticking from the clock was muted, like the sound had been drained from the air. I didn't eat. I didn't drink. I sat at the edge of my bed with the tape in my hand. Countdown. I haven't played it. Not yet. Not because I'm scared, but because I think I already know what it shows. I think this time, it won't be the footage that's new. It'll be me. The mirror won't reflect. The lights won't flicker. Everything will work as it should. And that will be the proof that I'm no longer myself. I thought about leaving the apartment again. Just running, full sprint, out into the street. But I know it won't matter. I could fly to another country, dive into the ocean, lock myself in a vault. It would still find me. Not because it follows, but because it's already inside. I tried recording myself again this morning. Not with my phone, an old camcorder I found in a thrift store. When I played back the footage, I watched myself blink once. Then I stopped moving for a full 10 minutes, staring at the screen, not breathing. Then I smiled. Not the kind of smile you make with joy. The kind you make when you've been caught. And the tape ended. No glitch. Just over. It's 4:39 p.m. now. I've taken down all the clocks. All but one. The one that came back. Still ticking. Still pointing. 8:17 p.m. I think this is my last entry. If someone finds this journal, this footage, this tape, don't play it. Don't be curious. Don't try to understand it. Understanding is how it gets in. I tried to call my sister one last time. The call didn't go through. Instead, the phone rang once, then stopped. A second later, I got a voicemail notification. It wasn't from her. I played it. It was my voice. I'm already here. It whispered. You're just the echo. I threw the phone across the room. It didn't shatter. It didn't even turn off. It just sat there, humming softly, as if waiting for me to pick it back up. I didn't. Instead, I sat in the center of the room and tried to remember everything about my life. My first friend. My worst mistake. The happiest I ever was. But the images are harder to recall now. Blurred around the edges. Like a dream fading as soon as you wake. I started to cry. But even the tears felt artificial. Like my body was performing grief out of habit, not feeling. Outside, the sky is cloudless. Perfect. Blue. Unnatural. There's something wrong with how still it is. No breeze. No rustling leaves. No sound at all. Like the world is on pause, waiting for the tape to catch up. I checked the time again. 5:06 p.m. The ticking is louder now. It echoes in my bones. I've turned off every light, closed every curtain, sat in front of the VCR with the tape in my lap. It feels warm. It never did before. It pulses in my hands like a heartbeat. Mine or its. I can't tell anymore. There's only one thing left to do. Hit play. And watch. If you're watching this, I'm sorry, but it means the tape. It's done. I pressed play. The tape began like before. Static, then darkness, then the hallway. But this time, something was different. The camera wasn't fixed. It moved. Slow, deliberate, as if someone was behind it now. As if I was no longer watching the tape, but the tape was watching me. The screen showed me asleep. Then it cut to black. Then, I was back. Not in my room. Somewhere else. A wide white room. Walls that curved inward. No doors. No windows. Just me and a mirror on the far wall. I walked toward it. Or rather, the person in the footage did. But I felt it. With every step, I felt the ground under my feet. I wasn't just watching anymore. I was inside. The reflection looked back, and for a moment it was me. Then it wasn't. Its eyes were black. Its mouth opened, wider than it should, wider than any mouth could. And something crawled out. A shape. A shadow. No body, just the sense of a body. It slipped through the screen, into the room. I tried to run. I couldn't. The image on the tape flickered. I saw flashes. My childhood home. My college dorm. Every place I've ever lived, twisting, folding in on themselves, as if being digested. Then silence. Total, deafening silence. Then I opened my eyes. Back in my room. The TV was off. The tape was gone. Everything looked normal. Too normal. I stood up. Walked to the mirror. Stared at myself. I looked fine. No black eyes. No wide mouth. No shadow. Just me. I exhaled. Laughed a little. Thought maybe it was all in my head. Then my reflection blinked. And I didn't. My smile froze. It tilted its head and mouthed something I couldn't hear. But I knew what it said. Your turn. So if you're seeing this journal, this tape, this story, it means I got out just enough to leave a warning. Or maybe I didn't. Maybe this is how it spreads. Maybe you were never supposed to finish watching. But you did. And now it's watching you. I tried testing myself. Simple things. Tried writing my name backwards. The pen wouldn't move. I tried calling someone. Anyone. No dial tone. The phone just buzzed softly, like it was vibrating from inside my skull. I turned on the faucet. Water came out black. Not dark. Not dirty. Pure black. Thick like ink. I turned it off, but it kept flowing. I smashed the mirror. Behind it was another room. And inside that room, me again. Tied to a chair. Head slumped forward. Lips moving. I pressed my ear to the wall. He was whispering the same word over and over. Play. 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 I backed away. Stumbled into the kitchen. Every drawer was open. Every knife was gone. Then the TV came on by itself. One final message. The screen was blank except for text in red. The recording is complete. Then, beneath it, initiating broadcast. I tried to unplug everything. Every wire. Every cord. Even shut off the power at the breaker. Nothing changed. The message stayed. Then the screen flashed. Hundreds, no thousands of faces. Not static photos. Live feeds. People watching. People frozen in place. All of them staring. Then, one by one, their faces began to change. Eyes turning black. Mouth stretching. Smiles too wide. Then mine. Staring right back at me. I turned off the TV. But the reflection in the black screen kept watching me. It still is. And now I understand. The tape isn't cursed. It's a seed. It doesn't kill. It grows.